Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here.
Meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel.
Another week, another episode.
Wait, what did you say?
Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you another movie review. This time we're going to be talking about Silent Trigger, the action film starring Dolph Lundgren, which came out in 1996, co-starring Gina, Bellman, Conrad Dunn, as well as Christopher Heyerdahl. Yeah, continuing some of the action films I've been ranting and rambling about lately. Done a bunch of Scott Adkins movies, talked about a pretty good amount of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies as well. So I'm trying to incorporate more action movies into my channel alongside my usual horror and TV show reviews, because I do like more than one genre, so. And Silent Trigger was one I seen on Amazon Prime, so I thought I'd check it out because I have begun to have more of an interest in Dolph Lundgren's work, sort of individually. I've seen him in Expendables 2, the Universal Soldier films, but I haven't seen much of him as, like, the lead character, the protagonist, and I'm curious about him. And I gotta say, it was very ironic also because, like I said, another actor in this movie is Christopher Heyerdahl, who I've just loved on Van Helsing for the past few years. A really fabulous and talented actor. And when I looked at the film on Amazon Prime, looked at the cast list, it's like, okay, I guess coincidences are real, or I don't know. But yeah, so Silent Trigger. It tells the story of Waxman, who is a former Special Forces soldier who is now working as a heavily armed assassin for a top secret government agency. But when a covert mission goes terribly wrong, he and fellow assassin Clegg become the agency's prime targets. And it basically gets set up as they're sort of stuck in this tower together, and this organization may be laying into, and they sort of have to survive and fight off whoever comes, really. And then throughout you get some flashbacks to the initial time they spent together when Gina Bellman's character was a rookie, and Lundgren is sort of she was the spotter, excuse me, and he was the one, of course, who would pull the trigger, but he sort of has like a question of his conscience and stuff like that. He's been in it too long. And that's something I want to give Dolph Lundgren credit for right away. I think he actually did a good job of showing sort of that world wariness of the character in the movie. I think there's a fair amount of subtle acting that went into his performance here. That really just showed that, this guy has been dragged down by his line of work, which obviously has a lot of gray area as to, what objectives he's given and stuff like that, and, there's not, they like to make it think it's black and white, but he struggled with that when he left, and Gina Bellman's character was told to kill him. She struggles with that herself in the flashbacks, and I see they had, grown fairly close, sort of like a mentor student type of thing, but you can tell there's obviously something there as well, because it's an 80s, 90s action movie, so there's gotta be a romance. So Dolph Lundgren, I thought, was pretty good in this movie. Dolph Lundgren sort of has a reputation of being like kind of this big tough guy. I'm not saying he's the greatest actor in the world, but I do think he has a little bit more than people might initially say. And I'll talk more about that in another movie of his I review down the road. I thought he was good here. He's an imposing presence, of course, but he has a fair amount of likability to him that I think comes out in some of his later films a little bit more. But it's here too, and I liked him as a lead character in this movie. And I also really like the premise. As I said, the whole kind of tower setting I thought worked. It's big, but yet it feels isolated and stuff like that. There's a decent tone in this movie with that too that I enjoyed. And Gina Bellman herself I thought was good. Their chemistry was fine. I mean, it wasn't particularly memorable. I wasn't just waiting for him to hook up or anything, but I thought it worked. I thought they fleshed it out a fair amount for the runtime. And she was good here. She is, sexy, attractive, stuff like that. Capable of taking care of herself, minus kind of a few inconsistent scenes with that, I think. But she was serviceable for sure. And I gotta talk about Christopher Heyerdahl himself. He's a great character actor and a great actor in general. But he's very good here as this security guard, who obviously has a lot more issues, to him. He's been working too long as well, but it's taken a different effect on him. And Christopher Heyerdahl is very, very good here. He just brings a lot of energy into his sort of the way he moves and his mannerisms and everything. He did a really good job here. Him and Dolph Lundgren probably have my favorite fight of the movie. And there's a decent mood to it as well, with the kind of the dark lighting and then the flashes of light and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that. And the action, speaking of, I think is good in this movie. I've seen some reviews say it was excuse me, somehow boring. I will say, the runtime for it, the runtime was about an hour and a half. If it was 10-15 minutes longer, it probably would have felt a bit stretched out. It was almost there for me, but I thought it still worked, and the action helped. You get some really pretty good shootout scenes, and actually some, I can almost say, good kills, because when Dolph Lundgren uses a sniper in this movie, especially, kind of medium range, when there's other agents in the room and everything, it's brutal. You see the impact of it, of the type of ammunition he's using. So I thought that worked really well. Like I said, some decent shootout sequences there. And the ending, again, it's an 80s 90s action movie. It's not completely unpredictable, but I still thought it worked, and there's a good charm to it at the end. So yeah, overall, Silent Trigger. It's not the most unique action movie you'll ever see. But if you like Dolph Lundgren and you want to see him in a solid action flick, I think this is an alright one to start with. And I'm probably giving it about a B-. Familiar, not a whole lot different to it, but at the same time, good for what it's going for the most part. So yeah, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. By the way, I need to make more pictures of ratings when I do this, because I'm introducing percentages now, because everyone is obsessed with percentages in movies these days. So when I say B-, I mean probably within the range of an 80-81%, somewhere in there. So yeah, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I already said that, possibly. Catch you guys next time. Peace.